lights are out, you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talladega, Alabama, and round number 3 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tony Trapasso. Joined with me tonight by a special guest, Tyler Bentley, new to Sim Racing Media. Welcome, sir. Welcome to CleanRacing.net, and welcome to Talladega.
Yeah, appreciate it. Really happy to be here to take in tonight's event and see what type of racing we got here and how this race unfolds.
Well, you picked a great league to jump in with tonight because we don't call it CleanRacing.net for a reason. For no reason, I should say. Because, there are bonus points for a clean season on the line, and these guys take that very seriously. Pretty decent-sized field here tonight, too. I'm looking 31 haulers in the infield.
Yeah, that could spell good things or bad things, depending on how these guys decide to drive. But being named CleanRacing.net, hopefully we don't have any big mishaps out on track here. But I guess time will tell.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick look at the point standings coming into tonight. As Trevor Ryan currently sits atop the pile, 84 points to the good. Brian Toole, only 3 markers back in second. Ryan Twinham, currently holding down the third spot. Your season 12 champion, Greg Barnett, currently sitting in fourth place. So decent recovery run for him. His first season back after tearing his rotator cuff last season. Tom Richter in fifth. James Nelson, Larry Stubblefield, Jay Culp, Abram Gaston, and TJ Allen rounding out your top 10 right now. And I mean, we're only 2 races in the books already, but this is one of the tightest points battles we have seen so far at this point of the season since we started covering this series. As we're going to take a quick look at the weather conditions coming in tonight. 78-degree ambient air temperature, 55% water grain in the air under partly cloudy skies, winds pretty negligible at only 2 miles an hour. 107-degree track temperature, though, has me a little bit concerned. This track, yes, it's wide enough to run 3 wide, but once the temperatures get into the triple digits, it does get greasy through the corners, and these trucks can start skating around, so that's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on. As you can see right now, your season 12 champion Greg Barnett currently sitting atop the pile here in the hot lap session. 51.30, and that was draft aided. So that is going to do it for practice. Let's click on over and start qualifying, shall we? As waiting for the timer to run out. There it goes, and here we go for qualifying. Who's going to be the first victim?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what type of times these guys put out. I know practice times somewhat can be misleading with the draft and all, so we might have a pretty tight leaderboard here on single truck runs.
Looks like the Marine Corps is going to be the first one to storm the beach. Is Jay Culp, first one getting it rolling there in the 88 United States Marine Corps Toyota. There's Jeremy Morrison, repping Canada in the 75. He's back with us tonight. Shane Calhoun in the 004 for Enterprise, also rolling. Evan Kinney, a past winner here at Talladega in the Haas Automation number 91. Perennial favorite, Jamie LaRoque, there he is. In a new paint scheme tonight. Chevrolet house colors. Another previous winner here at Talladega, Steve Tuck, in the Liberty University number 10. Good to see him back. Dominic Rossi also rolling right now. There he is in the Safe Late number 78. Kevin Becker in the 25. Trying to get that thing wound up as best he can right now. Steve Alland in the Hallmark 52. Jumping on the binders coming off of pit road.
Yeah, I've noticed a couple of the guys that had came out of the pit lane originally jumped on the brakes and just peeled low down the backstretch. So I wonder if they're trying to play a few games here for qualifying.
Yeah, I think everybody's trying to wait for that track temperature to see if it's going to drop any, but they're going to have to hustle it because we've only got 5 minutes to try to get their 2 laps in.
Yeah, and that's about halfway over already as it is.
Yes, it is at that. As Jay Culp, actually Jeremy Morrison going to be the first one to lay a time down. Culp negated his first lap somewhere. Shane Calhoun jumps to the top of the pile. Now Dominic Rossi, the bumping, coming fast and furious here. Stan Sykes in the 66 goes third quick. Jamie LaRoque to the top of the pile. Nice lap, Jamie.
I definitely keep an eye out for these second laps. I know most of these trucks are on the high side getting those things wound up on lap 1, so I'd expect a pickup here for each of these trucks.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to be the safe bet there. As Kevin Becker jumps up to 8th quick on his first flyer. We're following along with Ken Holland right now. Evan Kinney goes 2nd quick. There's Ryan Twinham in the Goose Island Brewing number 8.
Wow, believe it or not, Rossi and LaRoque on their second laps actually was slower by about a tenth.
I can believe that because, you know, you've got these things taped right off and it gets hot. You know, the engines are getting hot. You're going to have to really get after it on the first lap if you're going to want to have a shot at it tonight. So let's see what lap 1, the first flying lap, does for Twinham. Second quick. Not too shabby, and he's going to call it quits right there. It's Blaine Woodruff in the Monster Energy number 71. And there's Tim Cook in the Kevin Harvick tribute scheme. Cook is going to go 8th quick. Before the race, we were talking with Joey Steyer. Wow! Joe Steyer's just kind of goofing around with only 10 seconds left. Knows he's not going to get the lap in, so just having some fun with it. And it doesn't look like Woodruff's going to get to the line before the timer's going to run out. Yep, and that's going to do it for qualifying. Let's take a quick look at our starting grid tonight. Starting up on the pole, Oh Canada it is Jamie LaRoque goes quick time 56.116. 23 thousandths to the good over Ryan Twinham in the 8. Evan Kinney and Dominic Rossi going to make up row number 2, with Ken Holland and Stephen Tuck in row number 3. Row 4 is going to go to Shane Calhoun, Tim Cook. With row 5 running up the top half of the field, it's going to be Dan Sykes and Jay Culp. Jeremy Morrison and Kevin Becker in row number 6. Excuse me. Row 7 is going to see the return of Lane Hosler. He's going to be joined with TJ Allen, Trevor Ryan, and Tom Richter in row 8. Row 9 is going to see Nate Brown and Abram Gaston. Jeremy Moore and Brian Toole in row 10. Row 11 is going to go to James Nelson and Chris Smith, with row 12 going to Joey Steyers and Ken Pack. Row number 13 going to go to William George and James Rayburn Jr., Blaine Woodruff and David Connell in row number 14. Row 15 is going to see Greg Barnett and Larry Stubblefield. Carl Yeager and Tommy Osborne in row number 16. Row 17 is going to see Steve West and Fred Garcia. And Garcia is going to be starting shotgun on the field back there in 34th position. So big field here tonight for the rip around Talladega. Biggest track on the series, 2.62 miles. 34 trucks scheduled to do battle, 4 sets of tires, 70% fuel fill, and we were talking with a couple of drivers before we went live. And Tyler, we were finding out right around 20 to 22 laps is about all you're going to get out of Think and Go Fast.
Yeah, so strategy, I think, is going to come into play as long as we don't have a bunch of cautions here. So it'll be interesting to see, if the guys want to come to the front or if you're going to see some of the guys fall towards the back and just ride it out. I'm sure we'll see a nice mix of that and of strategy here tonight.
Very much will. Let's take a quick look at the weather conditions as we're starting to roll them behind the official iRacing pace car. Again, 2-mile-an-hour winds, pretty negligible. Track temperatures calmed down a little bit. It's now down to only 103 degrees. It was flirting with 110 earlier. 56% water drain, so partly cloudy skies. Not too shabby conditions. We've seen the track temperatures here at Dega go way high, much higher before this. So a little bit after 4 o'clock in sim time. Should have plenty of daylight left to get this race underway. LaRoque, Twinham, Kinney, Rossi, Auckland, Tuck, Sykes, Cook, Morrison, Culp. Your top 10 as we get ready to turn them loose here. 470 laps. in Talladega, Alabama. Working through the 3-4 complex right now as something we don't normally get to talk about. Jamie LaRoque, perennial favorite of the league. He just blistered one in qualifying. Let's see what this race is going to bring to him. Jamie, not normally one that's aggressive, especially in the early going, but is there at the end. You know, he's one of the stalwarts of, in order to finish first you must finish. Well, Jamie's finished every race this season as the pace car makes that lazy left turn down below the mustard stripe. Geico restart zone is in effect. The only thing that's left for me to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab the boiled peanuts because it's time to get it on in Talladega. Race fans, it's show time!
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag comes out and we are underway. Is Twinham going to win the drag race coming to the stripe? A little more aggressive on the loud pedal than LaRoque was. It's going to be Rossi with him. Rossi now leading that outside lane as Twinham drops down in front of LaRoque. Just like that, we are off and racing at Talladega.
Not real surprised too early to see the bottom line starting to form up. Here you see a lot more trucks down there right now, and a couple of them making their way that way. They might run some laps here, get a good feel for their trucks and a feel for the other trucks they're racing around.
Well, it's that point in the race where you're trying to figure out who's your dancing partner, who can you work with, who's going to work with you well, and who's not going to be able to work with you as effectively. But right now it looks like the 11, that's actually the 78 of Rossi being, or the 11 of Rossi being scored as the 78, which is one of the reasons why we don't let tech officials drink while handing out transponders. Rossi and Twinham leading that bottom line charge, but they've got some good company with Stephen Tuck and Tim Cook working well together, and here comes the 66 of Sykes up on that second lane as well. The rest of the field pretty single filed out. I mean, you've got to go all the way back to right around Joey Steyer's there in 12.
Oh no, one spinning down through the pit lane.
That's Tim Cook going for a ride. Let's take a look at what happened with Tim here. Just a bump draft going through the tri-oval gone wrong, and that is definitely an unsafe pit entry. But because it was out of the racing line and he didn't actually come to a stop, we stay green. But that is definitely not going to be a happy camper behind the wheel of the 29.
No, very, very unfortunate there. And not only that, doesn't have any help back there. And with a pit road penalty, just compounding things. Very unfortunate start to the race for him.
Yeah, he's going to have to hope for an early caution in order to get back into the mix of things here. As front of the field single filed out, and then you go back to round 5th is where that second lane's starting to form up. Oy. Steyers, Gaston, Woodruff, and the 17 of Jaeger up there.
Yeah, they're definitely kind of holding their own. And in fact, the past couple laps I've been keeping an eye on Steyers, and they're slowly, methodically working their way forward on that outside here.
Starting to make it happen as they're 3 wide, way deep in the field. Or at least they were for a second there. That was around Nate Brown in the number 5. And just like that,
Big moment here at the front of the pack.
Oh boy.
there was some blocks being thrown into turn 1.
You know, looks like Twinham was flirting with disaster, but we heard Stiers say when we were talking to him, Stiers into the wall. Three wide, not a good move, as Twinham trying to play both halves against the middle. We heard Joe say that during the pre-race that he was looking to get working with Ryan if they could find each other, but unfortunately Stiers ate the wall on the backstretch, and that killed all of his momentum. Oy. These guys are putting an awful lot of faith in netcode right now, as Evan Kinney has won here before. This is one of the few tracks that Joe Stiers hasn't won at. Tuck has had a win here. Kinney has had a win here. Twinham has had a win here.
There's definitely been a couple of near disaster moments to start this race, but I think we're starting to spread out a little bit here.
Well, we're starting to, everybody's finding who they can dance with, who's, got two left feet right now. As Tuck and Twinham seem to be working pretty well on that low side. Kinney, though, we haven't seen him in a few weeks, so trying to get the rink rust off, as we call it in hockey. Get the juices flowing again. Is now Kinney making a move with Stiers for help on that top shelf, and they've got the 78 of Rossi up there with them, well, the 11 of Rossi, I should say. Picking him up and laying him down is we are working lap 7 of 70. So closing in at about the halfway mark of this fuel run right now.
Rossi made an abrupt left to drop down to the bottom lane right before the start-finish line, and I think it spooked the 15 just a little bit because he backed out of it coming across the line.
Yeah, that would spook anybody at that speed. Speaking of which, let's take a look at how fast these guys are going right now. 183 down the backstretch here, 184, 185. Flirting with 187 miles an hour as they haul it off into turn number 3. So Tuck, Twinham, Kinney, Stiers, Rossi, Sykes, Becker, Mortensen, LaRoque, Olland, your top 10 as we currently sit. And we are still pretty single filed out until you get back to deep in the pack. That's Lane Hosler and Shane Calhoun working with each other now. Looks like both those guys electing to pit start. Blaine Woodruff has fallen way off the pace. As you can see, the front end damage on the 71. That truck's been through a war already. And then Tim Cook, who got sent down pit road unceremoniously and had to do a stop and go for unsafe pit entry. Currently running in last place, but all 34 trucks that did take the green are still running here tonight.
Leapfrog for the lead up here at the front. Twinham moved up to the top line to get help from the 91, and he's pushed ahead to the lead.
Well, Twinham, Kinney, and Stiers have worked very well with each other in the past, and that seems to be what they're doing right now. As here comes Kinney down to the low side. And Stiers and Twinham have found each other. This could spell disaster for the rest of the field because you've got two of the best pushers working with each other, and both of them have shown speed. Oh no!
Yellow flag is out.
Twinham just caught more airtime than a skateboard at the X Games.
Yeah, that was a rough moment. I think he was trying to come down, or he got help from behind there.
Yikes. Let me see if I can find it, because that was big.
Wenham got clipped in the right rear from the bump draft of Steyrs into the back of the 8 truck.
We're going to have to back that up just a little bit more here. Bear with me, folks. This is the start of the lap. As you're going to see Kinney drop down. There he goes. Twinham stays in the second lane. Steyrs is going to get a run at him. Good push down the back straightaway. As they haul it off into turn number 3 is when all hell breaks loose. And yup, Steyrs didn't release early enough, and Twinham just... bye. And we've got a parking lot in turn number 3. Good grief.
Probably going to be a pretty early exit for some of these guys. I don't know if they'll be able to get much of the damage repaired to where they'll be able to make any speed out here on track, unfortunately. A lot of hard hits for some of these trucks.
Absolutely. Let's back that up a little bit, more here. This is going into 3. We're on board with... Oi! It was on board with Twinham, and you saw just how high that truck got from the onboard. Great googly moogly.
Yeah, and thinking about Stephen Tuck, he went down into turn 3. Nothing wrong, and all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, his truck was turned to the right facing the outside wall, and he didn't even know what happened.
And Tuck got sent for a ride as well. Up and over, and just like that, we've got a lot of torn up race trucks. Oy.
And it looks like Tuck has retired for the night along with Kevin Becker.
Can't say I blame him. Well, there's our first, thank God this is a simulator moment of the night.
Yeah, I know for some of these guys, they didn't want to see that this early.
Absolutely not. That's not something you ever want to see. Yikes. Well,
I got a bunch of apologies passing back and forth on driver radio currently here, so.
Well, we had a lot of takers coming down pit road, some having to do damage repair. The top 8, though, only taking fuel. So Kinney, Rossi, Calhoun, LaRoque, Moore, Ryan, Richter, Garcia, and Connell all taking fuel only. Everybody else having to affect some form of damage repair. And a lot of trucks having to tow back to pit road. Including but not limited to Dan Sykes, Brian Toole, Chris Smith, James Raybird, Joey Steyrs, all towing. As you mentioned, Kevin Becker and Stephen Tuck deciding to both put it on the hauler early. Well, that's a fine how do you do is we're working lap 13 to 70 here.
Another interesting thing here, are those drivers that are still out here on track, are they looking at that last incident and, you know, saying they're going to take it down a couple notches from where they were at and just ride, or is that a precursor for the rest of the race?
Well, with this league, I would say it's kind of the warning shot of, hey, we don't want to be in that situation. So let's take about 10% off her here.
Right. And I think that the whole incident really just revolves around like a bump gone wrong situation there into turn 3.
That's exactly what it was. You know, there was no malice because, you know, we were talking with Joey Sires before we went on the air. He was looking to work with Ryan Twinham, you know, to help Ryan get a championship. And it was just, oops. You know, the bump draft timing gone wrong going through 3. As the pace car is in, Kinney leads him into the Geico restart zone. And we are now underway. As Kinney and Calhoun working on the low side. Rossi, no real help on the top shelf yet. As Jamie LaRoque getting hung out to dry there by the 9 of Jeremy Moore. LaRoque now getting a good run at the back bumper of Rossi. Everybody's kind of minding their P's and Q's right now. One of your biggest movers right now is going to be that 74, the Logitech Chevy of David Connell, currently sitting plus 20. And right behind him, the Wonder Bread number 3 of Fred Garcia, currently sitting plus 24. So 2 of your biggest movers right now inside the top 10 is Fred Garcia being scored in 10th.
We do have 2 pretty tight-knit lines formed now at the front of this pack here, running double wide through 3 and 4.
What we do with that is Dominic Rossi in this 11 with the nose out in front right now. Got a little bit of a blinker going. That's the 34 of Tom Richter. That's got to be unnerving for everybody around him.
It's a very, very unnerving situation for the driver, especially the driver directly behind him, because you never know if he blinks back in, if you're going to be inside of that truck or not.
Well, let's ride along with Jeremy Moore. This is off the nose of the number 9. See if that blinking continues for Richter. Looks like he may have that under control now. So Kinney, Ryan, Richter, Moore, Connell, Rossi, Brown up to 7th. Second lane starting to drift back a little bit. Jamie LaRoque, not known as an aggressive pusher. And that might be what's hampering that outside lane currently, is the fact that LaRoque doesn't like to put a bumper to anybody.
That, and he's probably just in that mindset, you know, we're working lap 17 right now. There's still quite a long ways to go. Plenty of pit stops to be made and strategy calls to make here. So I don't blame him here for that.
I don't blame him in the least. And especially knowing that that accident that just took place was a bump draft gone wrong. You know, everybody's a little bit hesitant right now to really be pushing on each other.
Been keeping an eye on the 64 truck, David Connell. He's been slowly working his way up through this field, currently riding in the 7th position on the inside line.
There's Connell in this Logitech number 64, currently one of your two biggest movers at plus 22.
No, we were watching the 64, and he has a couple of teammates, and they were working really well together in practice.
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting to see, is this...
They haven't found each other yet, but somebody that has found some speed. That's your defending series champion being pushed on by Dominic Rossi right now. That's Lane Hosler in the first race of his title defense. Missed the first 2 rounds. Decided to come back here at Talladega, and is currently your highest running blue oval. Next blue oval is going to be another defending, or another series champion, Greg Barnett, who's mired back in 19th right now. So,
looks like we have maybe a long freight train line forming here on the bottom of the racetrack.
We absolutely do at that. Throw a blanket over your top 15, if you will. And then you've got the lap truck of Blaine Woodruff. And the lap truck of Tim Cook back there. And I believe I saw Nate Brown. Yeah, Nate Brown is the caboose in this little freight train. And then you've got 3/4 of a second back to that peloton being led by the 7 of James Nelson. As he's got Stubblefield, Barnett, Pack, Osborne, Calhoun with him. As the 14 finally making his way back out of the pits. That's the Mobile 1 Toyota of Chris Smith. Meanwhile, at the front of this piece, Hosler making a good statement here. Although he is behind the 8 ball in points, showing these guys that he still knows how to get it done. And ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for any weird noises you're hearing over my microphone. I am not feeling the greatest right now. Thankfully, we do have Tyler with us in the booth. So, Tyler, if I just go quiet, I'm gonna need you to handle things, bud, because I'm feeling kind of woozy right now.
Well, that's all good. We'll do what we can do here.
Pretty single filed out, working lap 22 of 70 here tonight.
A little bit of a moment there coming out of turn 4. Hostler got a big shot from Kenny right behind him and got him a little bit loose. But they're straightened out and running just fine now. The 91 did come over the radio and say sorry for the big shot there.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, you know, with this league, you know that it's nothing malice meant if somebody gets into somebody and turns them sideways. It's just, you know, a bump draft gone wrong usually, like 99.9% of the time with these guys. Simply because there are bonus points at the end of the season. If you run a clean season with 0 incident points, there are a lot of bonus points on the line in the championship. Do you need to thank our good friends at the ringsidereport.net for all your boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing, pro wrestling, all your combat sport needs. You need to look no further than the ringsidereport.net, and you can find the Ringside Report Network on all your favorite streaming services as well. Ringsidereport.net. Without them, we would not be here tonight. Checking in the live chat. I see we've got quite a few of you looking and lurking. Let us know who you're pulling for here tonight. We'll try to highlight your favorite driver throughout the evening. And while you're at it, feel free to give this video a thumbs up. If you like what you're seeing, you know, let us know. Every thumbs up helps, and it matters. And if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action. As we have racing 7 nights a week now here on Sim Racing Media. And if you don't like what you're seeing, be sure to hit that dislike button twice to make sure you got it.
Back on track here, the 61 of Lane Haas are still leading the way, and on lap 25 and about halfway through this fuel run here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we were talking with you know, Joey Stiers before we went on the air, and Stiers told us that about 20 laps is all you're going to get out of a tank and go fast. As Hosler now, I mean, we're maybe a handful of laps away from seeing our first green flag pit stop right now, and the fact that we have the vast majority of the field that took the green still running, that's impressive. Only 4 retirements to speak of. That's Ryan Twinham, Stephen Tuck, Kevin Becker, and James Rayburn. Stiers is still on pit road trying to get that truck fixed. Dan Sykes in the 66 is still trying to get that truck fixed. Brian Toole and Chris Smith are both trying to get their trucks fixed. So we've got currently 26 trucks still on track, with 4 more still in the pits. So still not too shabby numbers.
No, and the drivers out here currently did what we expect. You know, they're all running in a single file line here, logging some laps, getting closer to the end of this thing before they get pretty racy here.
It doesn't mean that they're not racing, especially considering the 64 of David Connell is currently plus 22. The 3 of Fred Garcia, there you see that Wonderbred Chevy, is currently plus 23. And the man who's only evil when he's upside down, Steve West, in the 999, is plus 20 in 13. So, you know, these guys are still racing, but they're racing very cleanly. I mean, current example, the guy that's showing the way right now, Lane Hosler, is plus 12. As a matter of fact, in the top 7, only Evan Kinney is not in the double digits to the plus side. Everybody else plus 10 or better. That's impressive.
Yeah, very impressive for these guys, you know, working their way up. And really one of the best seats in the house is to be leading the charge in first position. So Hosler's really loving running out front here.
But let me ask you this. it's coming to the last lap. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be in Hostler's position, or do you want to be in Kinney's position?
I would rather be in Kenny's position just because as a leader you have everything to lose and nothing to gain, whereas Kenny can, and even in moments like this where they're running single file, he can kind of drop back a little bit, maybe burp the throttle a little more and put a little bit of a gap between himself and Hosler and get that push from that third truck in line and really see what kind of a run he could possibly get, and just kind of be playing those games for later on. And now that's barring whether these guys would go green or not. But for me, I would rather not be leading at a super speedway on the last lap.
I'd have to agree with you on that one. The lead dog, you can make your truck as wide as you want to, but sooner or later you got to realize this is going to hurt if I do this again.
Yeah. Well, that and it,
go ahead.
That, and it may not even be Kenny that makes the move. It could be the third, fourth, fifth, even sixth truck in line that makes that first move coming to the end of the race. And that throws a big wrench in things too, especially for the first couple.
Oh, it absolutely does, because you got to be watching your rear view mirror and your relative. Excuse me. In the closing laps, you've got to be watching that relative to know that, hey, they're coming on that second lane. I've got to get up there. Which is where, if you've got teammates who are already out of the race, now they're live spotting for you. That'll come in very handy.
Yeah, that's one of those things there that as a driver, if you do have a teammate that's out, that's kind of one of those nice things about having a teammate that can be live spotting to let you know about moves and give you some heads up before they're on your quarter panel.
Because we've all seen it before where you leave it for too late, and next thing you know, you just wrecked 20 trucks. Speaking of wrecking 20 trucks, we're getting darn close to green flag pit stops. As we're about 20 laps into this current fuel run, and depending on where you've been running and how much fuel you've been able to save, which I dare say is virtually zero for Lane Hosler right now, you got to decide when are you coming, and you got to hope you're going to have guys coming with you when you do.
Yeah, I'd say we'd look for green flag stops here within the next 2 to maybe 3 laps.
So far, everybody's staying out.
We do have a pair of trucks on the outside. Back there, that's the 5 of Nathan Brown.
And the 29 of Tim Cook. They're currently working into the outside of Abram Gaston and the Fanatec Chevy. A lot of right side damage on that double deuce Gaston. So not really sure what he got into. He's coming pit side. Here we go.
First 4 coming in down the pit lane now.
Morrison might be in trouble. We're going to keep an eye on the 75 because he was coming in hot.
We're going to have a pretty big group of them here. I think the leaders are going to come down this time. That's what I'm hearing on radio.
All right, well, everybody down and away cleanly from that grouping. Let's go back to the race on track. And here we go. The entirety of the front of the field. Oh, hang on to her. Nate Brown.
Very close there. I don't think he made pit road speed, but he at least kept the truck in one piece, getting it woed up. Oh, and Hosler missed his pit box. He slid through just a touch.
We did see that. Got it up on the jacks now, though. So we're keeping an eye on Brown to see. Yep. Brown popped for speeding on. Well, that's no bueno. Right now, here comes the rest of those who haven't come down pit side yet, being led by Nelson. Yikes. Right, here's your effective race lead. That's Evan Kinney and Trevor Ryan. As they've opened up almost a full second over Hosler and company. Hosler actually on an island by himself. It's Jamie LaRocque being pushed by Dominic Rossi now. So...
Yeah, we might end up with a few split packs here. It just depends on how well these guys draft with one another to get back up to these front two.
You see Barnett, Nelson, and Pack. And here comes Kinney leading the charge to the outside. Oh, that kerfuffle has let Hosler get to him. And they are too wide behind him. So Roque and Rossi go door to door. Evan Kinney, though, going to lead the lap. Trevor Ryan glued to his back bumper. With that, green flag pit stop's done and dusted. We're going to step away, pay a couple bills, and we'll be back right after this. Don't go away because we're going side by side.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
And we are back from Talladega, Alabama for round number 3 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series, Season 15. I'm Tony Trapasso. Up in the booth with you tonight, he is Tyler Bentley. And Tyler, your first foray here in the CleanRacing.net Truck Series, what's your take so far?
Oh, I've had an awesome time up here with you in the booth, seeing these drivers out on the track and their driving styles and how they're choosing to make their way around this Superspeedway Talladega. And interested to see how this final pit stop goes, because these drivers have to make one more pit stop before the end of this thing.
The money stop is going to be all important, as we did see a couple drivers already get popped tonight for speeding on. As currently showing 20 trucks on the lead lap. And of those that started, we still have, where are we here? 25 still running. Carl Yeager has put it on the hauler. Chris Smith, Brian Toole, Ryan Twinham, Steve Tuck, Dan Sykes, Kevin Becker, James Rayburn have all decided to call it a night. Joey Stiers still sits on pit road trying to get that engine swapped out after the first caution that was a bump draft gone wrong, and it annihilated the front of that Chevy. Meanwhile, up at the front, we've got two lines starting to form up. There's Jeremy Morrison and Tom Richter in the second lane. But they are going to have to do yeoman's work to get by the current race leader, Evan Kinney, out of Freeville, New York. Now, Kinney is a past winner here, so he knows how to get it done at Talladega on the plate tracks.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys saw during the side-by-side coverage there of Morrison and Richter on the outside. And they've been holding really steady right there. And in a couple moments, we almost thought they were going to push their way by, but they're not going to give up just yet. And they're pushing really hard right now.
I don't think they're really pushing as hard as they could be. They're going to need another truck up there. As they're coming up on a lap truck, I believe that's going to be, it looks like the 5 of Nate Brown. Yes, it is. Brown, another one of those that has missed a couple of races yet this season.
Yeah, he's the one who had the pit road speeding violation under that last round of green flag pit stops.
Correct. And now he's trying to merge back in, holding up the 38 just a little bit. That's your season 12 champion, Greg Barnett, being held up. Good to see Greg back with us full time again. Currently holding down the 9 spot in that POW MIA Ford F-150. That second lane starting to, they're putting in work up there on that second shelf. You know, the fact that the 75 of Morrison and 34 of Richter are able to hang with these guys, just the two of them, without any other help, that's impressive. And that's really what teamwork can do. That's where your teammates really come into play at a place like Talladega.
I know the 88 of Culp just came over the radio, said he was pitting this time, but he looked like he went clear down onto the apron here to let the leaders go around.
Which is definitely a good move to do, as Woodruff down on the apron as well in that Monster Energy Ford. The thing looks like it's been through a war already. Kenny, Ryan, Morrison, Hosler, Richter, LaRoque, Moore, Rossi, Bennett, and Nelson, your top 10 as we currently sit.
And back to Morrison and Richter, the job they're doing on the outside is really awesome. And I know Morrison would love to see a truck or two pop up there and help them out to get pushed into the lead from that outside lane. But they are really holding strong there on the outside.
Absolutely, and it's, you know, one of those deals where now they're coming up on a lap truck. Lap truck staying wide as he can, because nobody wants to be that guy. And if you've been in sim racing before, you know exactly what I mean when I say that guy, because we've all raced
Absolutely.
against that guy.
And I've seen the worst of the worst come from that guy.
True story. And, you know, that's where, you know, the keyboard warriors come into play, because if you do things that the air quote that guy does in the real world, you're going to have a bunch of people around your trailer wanting to talk with you. And I don't mean have words with you. They're going to want to talk in Braille.
Yes.
Congratulations, you've just become a human pinata. $20 to go already here tonight, so we are fast approaching You Can Make It From Here territory. Matter of fact, we're in You Can Make It From Here territory. So the question is, who's going to be the first one to flinch out of this front runners?
Yeah, with what they got left in the tank, they could probably run another 4 or so laps here just to save a, you know, that'll give them a little bit of assurance for a green-white checker if there ever was one tonight.
Well, you never know. I mean, it is Talladega, and just about anything's possible. And everybody's starting to get single-filed out. That's usually the tattletale that green flag pit stops are imminent. And unfortunately for Jeremy Morrison, he is hung out to dry right now. No room to be in on the low side.
Yeah, his drafting partner decided to tuck in line there on the bottom.
He finally finds a hole behind Dominic Rossi and in front of Greg Barnett. So here we go. 19 to go. Coming to 18 to go. Place your bets, folks, because it's about to get fun. Money stop time. And so far, it looks like everybody's going to stay out.
You haven't heard any chatter on driver radio as of yet on anybody coming down the pit lane.
Because most of these guys, when they're in their own Discord server, they're going to be talking with their teammates going, okay, I'm coming next lap. And you're only going to hear when you absolutely need to do it. Going through 3 and 4 is when you're probably going to hear the calls start coming.
And Tony, we got a whole slew of them coming this time.
There you go. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh brother. So far so good.
It looked like everybody got woed up there to pit road speed.
That's what I was watching, and it looked like everybody hit it. A couple guys slide for life, though.
Oh, the leaders are splitting a lap truck down the back. That was kind of scary.
Yeah, that could definitely be a pucker moment. Now, we do a Superspeedway series on Friday nights, and they have a rule that all lap trucks, if you can't get to the apron, you need to stay as close to the outside wall as you can. As here comes that second group, and Ken Allen just shot himself in the foot. Or did he?
That was close.
Well, no, the 52 came down previously with some lap trucks. And no, I take that back. He was last down on 33. TJ Allen was last down on 34. David O'Connell was last down on 34, so they still have yet to come out.
Yeah, Ken just came over the radio, said he was coming down this time.
The problem is he's got nobody to go with him. Unless those lap trucks go with him. Okay, so Brown is going. Brown coming in hot again.
Wow.
Good grief. And there's Allen and Connell working with each other. The two team trucks.
They're coming down this time.
They kind of have to. Check this out. It's Trevor Ryan's going to get by Jamie LaRoque. Just like that, the 18 to the lead, 15 to go. So Ryan, Richter, LaRoque, Rossi, Hosler, Kinney, Morrison, Moore, George, and Nelson, your top 10 as we currently sit. The 88 getting up and out of the way as they haul it down the backstretch. And 75 of Morrison up on that second lane again. The only problem is he has no help up there.
His partner he had the last time is currently in second position, and I'm sure he's content with that right now, winding the laps down here with 14 to go.
He absolutely is. There's 34, Tom Richter. Both he and Trevor Ryan sitting at plus 14 currently. Your biggest mover, though, is back here in 12. That's the Wonder Bread number 3 of the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. That's Fred Garcia. Your next biggest mover is that POW MIA number 38 of Greg Barnett at plus 20. He's in 9th right now. So still some decent racing left to go. As we're 14, it'll be 13 to go at the stripe with Trevor Ryan showing the way.
Yeah, I believe we're seeing the calm before the storm maybe here as we wind these laps down.
You know, I mean, you're not wrong.
Everybody's got enough fuel in the tank, and their trucks are feeling the way they want to, and by now they've probably got that dancing partner you've been talking about all night that they like running with to the end here.
You know, if you don't have one yet, you're never going to find one. As it's pretty much the swan song from this point forward. Working lap 13 to go here of the 80 scheduled. Sorry, 70 scheduled. Yeah, 70. And Jamie LaRoque hanging back just a little bit. And I'm not really sure why he's hanging back that far. Unless he's getting ready to try to time his run.
Which could be, or he's getting good info for about 10 laps from now.
Yeah, that could be. Trying to figure out when it's time to go. And, you know, he doesn't have a lot of pressure from behind from Dominic Rossi in the 11. But this would be something special because, you know, Jamie has been with this league since the inaugural season. And I don't think I've had a chance to talk to him yet.
Well, tonight just might be that night.
Absolutely. I'm kind of looking forward to it if he can hang on. Currently holding down a podium spot. But there's still 11 laps to go in this one as Trevor Ryan and Tom Richter show the way. So, let the games begin.
Yeah, these drivers that are running behind Trevor Ryan here are wondering when they should make that move. How many laps to go, and who's going to go with him, if anyone's going to go.
As we just saw Ryan Twinham and Joe Stiers get split. Trying to salvage as many points out of tonight as they can both get. After spending, 45 minutes on pit road each.
Yeah, that's some dedication to get some points for sure.
Well, Twinham only lost the championship to Lane Hosler last season by like 4 points.
What a battle.
Absolutely. That truck is a mess. But it's still running and, you know, hey, he's still turning laps. You can still salvage another spot or two. Well, at least one more spot before this thing's over. Because Carl Yeager in the 17 has already put it on the hauler in 26. Stiers and Twinham can both get by him. So, you know, every spot matters. Be 8 to go at the stripe. Trevor Ryan continuing to show the way. Richter glued to his tailgate right now. Everybody pretty single filed out, especially at the front of this piece. Throw a blanket over your top 13.
Got our first move there on the outside.
I don't think that was on purpose. Yeah, that was Jeremy Moore getting shuffled out. As he was trying to stay off of Lane Hosler, it looked like. 7 to go. Ryan and Richter continuing to show the way as they're working their way around the wounded TJ Allen right now. Richter getting the blinkies again. That's gotta be unnerving. And if that's the case, I can't say I blame Jamie LaRoe for not wanting to get up there. As a matter of fact, we're gonna go on board with the 15.
Morrison and Rossi just popped up to the outside, trying to make a move. They do have a pretty good run on the outside, coming out of 2.
Well, those two have been working that outside lane quite well all race long, so I wouldn't expect anything less. It's for 6 to go. Almost contact going into 3. as LaRoque goes up to the second lane now. Two Canadians pushing on each other on that second lane. 5 to go. It's the handshake lap. Trevor Ryan in the 18 continues to show the way. The question is, how aggressive does Morrison want to be on LaRoque?
Yeah, now's crunch time. I know Morrison's has been pretty. He's tried quite hard to get towards the front here, so I know he's going to wear out the bumper of the truck in front of him.
And here comes Hosler on the second lane. Around goes LaRoque.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And we're going into overtime.
A lot of trucks there as well with big damage.
It's a big junk right there. This is what the iRacing blimp picked up. And it was, again, a bump draft gone wrong going into 3. Morrison wow, Moore just went for a ride.
That was almost identical to what happened earlier there.
We're on board with the 9 of Moore. And he just gets turned. Watch this. Oi! This is on board with Moore. This is what he saw. This is helmet cam. Good grief.
Yeah, LaRoque and Morris, their bumpers was way offset, and what compounded that thing was LaRoque actually cut the truck down to the left to get into the corner, and Morrison tagged him in the left rear and got his truck sideways into the 9 of Morrison.
This is Nelson in the 7. You'll see it pop up in front of him. There. And he's got absolutely nowhere to go. Greg Barnett can't get on the brakes fast enough, and up and over goes the 7 of Nelson. Tim Cook, another one, doing the same thing. What a mess.
Excuse me, earlier I said Jeremy Morrison was the one who got turned. It was Jeremy Moore.
Right.
That's my bad.
We know what you meant.
Their names are really similar.
Oh, yeah. So we are going to go into overtime for this one. Trevor Ryan going to lead us, currently leading the way. Lane Holzer going to start to his outside. Tom Richter up there as well. Canadian Tire 75, Jeremy Morrison up there. Dominic Rossi in the 11. Larry Stubblefield, who is this is the highest we've seen him all night. Stephen West, the highest we've seen him all night as well, at plus 24 and plus 26, respectively, between those two. Tommy Osborne in the deuce, plus 22 back in 10th. So we've got a lot of torn up trucks on pit road right now.
I think Lane Hosser's kind of sitting in the catbird seat position per se here, not the leader. He's got a strong truck, led a lot of laps. So depending on how he restarts, if he may drop in line or he may stay on the outside if he gets a big enough push from Morrison.
Well, I mean, there's always that possibility. He's our defending series champion for a reason. Let's see how this is going to play out for him. As I don't think we saw a plate track last season. Well, let me rephrase that. We didn't see a plate track being used as a plate track because I believe we did run the Roval at Daytona. So, and Hosler did know how to get it done there. So the lights go out on the official iRacing pace car. Trevor Ryan, Lane Hosler, Tom Richter, Jeremy Morrison, Dominic Rossi, Larry Stubblefield, Stephen West, Evan Kinney, Tommy Osborne, and William George rounding out your top 10 as we get ready to turn these guys back loose for the first attempt at a green-white checker finish. Now, for those of you still unfamiliar with what the green-white checker finish is, green flag's going to come out, field's going to take off. The leader has to cross the start-finish line to accept the white flag for us to race back to checkers. If not, we're going to rack him, stack him, and try it again for up to 3 attempts. If at the end of those 3 attempts we still can't get it done, field frozen, race over, we'll finish under caution. Let us know in the live chat who you're pulling for right now. Is Jibber checking in? Jibber, unfortunately, Moore has already biffed it tonight, so he's on the outside looking in currently. Here we go into the Geico restart zone. Ryan has the button.
Green, green, green.
And he immediately jumps on the loud pedal. The 34 of Richter goes with him. They're both trying to get up there to get in front of Lane Hosler. Hosler, though, with a pretty decent restart, running door-to-door with Richter right now. The 75 of Morrison is going to need to get to the back bumper of Hosler if either one of them is going to have a chance right now. Drag race down the back straightaway, throw a blanket over your top 7. Ryan leads the low lane. Hosler, your defending series champion, in the upper lane. Now with the nose out front going into 3. Here comes Ryan back to the inside. Still door to door coming off of 4. Ryan, Hosler, Richter, Morrison, and Rossi all right there. Coming to the stripe, we are racing back to checkers.
Everybody's pushing real hard here, getting all they can get. They want to push that line there in forward and try to get out front here as best they can.
Working on it as hard as they can right now. Ryan and Richter showing the way on the low side. Morrison cannot get close enough to Hosler to really be effective. This is going to get ugly. Richter, Ryan, and Rossi, your top 3 right now, all on the low side. Stubblefield down there with them. Oi! Drag race coming off of turn number 4. We're 3 wide coming through the tri-oval. Hosler's around. And Ryan hangs on for the win.
Wow, what a finish.
You are absolutely correct there, sir. Three wide, almost 4 wide. The 91 gets into Hosler. Hosler goes around. Good grief.
Yeah, everybody fighting for that real estate, trying to use a little bit of side draft coming through that tri-oval, and a couple trucks got together there.
Could have been a lot worse than it was.
Absolutely.
As we are going to see if I can find him.
Trevor Ryan coming down to do his victory burnouts at the finish line.
Going to see if we can find anybody from our podium right now.
You know, as a side note there, I guess it worked out well to be the leader on the last lap.
It absolutely did. So we're going to actually start this in reverse order. As joining us now, the man who finished in third place, Jeremy Morrison. Tony, up in the booth, you got a copy on us, sir.
I do, sir.
Congratulations on a podium here tonight. That was a hard-fought podium for darn sure.
Yeah, that was very hard. I had to come from a long way back and get some help, and was kind of on my own. So it was fun. Let me just say that. And I thought I was going to push Lane, and thought I was going to help him get it, and then kind of we went high on everything, and then Evan came in underneath. So, but it was fun.
Talk us through the coming to the checkers there. That looked pretty ugly.
Well, I'm pushing Lane, and I just want to push Lane. As we come through, we got too far back, and then the second place guy started coming up, and we went high because I wanted him to push, and I knew he'd have the momentum. But I seen Lane coming in for 3 wide, and I know Lane and Evan were working together, so I wasn't sure what was going. So I tried, and then all of a sudden they wrecked behind me, so I think that's what helped me get third.
Oh, there you go then. But Jeremy, as we move forward, I believe we are. Sure we are. If I can find my notes again, sorry, bear with me.
Oh, it's okay.
I believe we are going to, yes, we are, Hot Atlanta next week. What are your thoughts going into the 1.5 miles there?
Back-to-back super speedways. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Jeremy, who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate the podium here in Talladega?
I'd like to thank my daughter and girlfriend for allowing me to have the time to do this. I'd like to thank Mr. Garcia for putting this league on and hosting all these events, and yourselves for broadcasting it on behalf of cleanracing.net.
All right. Well, Jeremy, congratulations on third place. We'll see you next week in Atlanta.
Thank you.
And Tyler, I believe you've got the man who came in runner-up tonight with you.
Evan Kenny, you got a copy?
I'm here, Tyler.
All right, man. How about that second place finish you had there tonight?
Yeah, it doesn't feel the best. I think I turned Lane there. Him and I were committed to working together, and I had a good enough run where I think I could have pushed him to the win, but being in the tri-oval, you're never really square, and with all the chaos, I think I probably turned him. So I feel bad about that, but I'll take second.
Right. I know I was going to bring up you worked with Lane most of the night there, and I saw you guys hooking up on the outside and thought for sure you had something coming to the line there, and unfortunately it didn't quite work out as you guys planned. But overall, an awesome run for you in second, and I know Tony said you guys have Atlanta next week, another super speedway style track nowadays. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, we'll see if I can make it. Us Brownie Racing boys are committed to a league on Thursdays, and I've got a small 10-month-old kiddo. So thanks to my wife for letting me do this, but we'll see if I can make it. If I do, it'll be a fun time. I don't know if it'll be the super speedway configuration or the old configuration, but either way, I'll be excited for it.
All right, sir. Thank you, and congrats on your second place finish.
All right, thanks, guys.
And now joining us, the man of the hour, Trevor Ryan. Talk about making a return to the league in style, sir. Congratulations on winning at the the wildest of wildcard tracks.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. It was a fun run there at the end. I couldn't have done it without the help of Tom, my teammate, there towards the end, though.
You guys definitely made it happen when it came crunch time. You stayed quiet for most of the race, plus 14 though. Was it just you missed qualifying, or just was that a strategic move to start towards the back to begin with?
Yeah, it was a little of a strategy move. I was trying to avoid the early jitters in the race, and we saw that huge caution, and I was thanking myself for taking that strategy. But I just was worried about, guys pushing hard in the beginning, and it ended up working out. We made it through that, and then we're able to battle there to the end.
Absolutely. Trevor, when it came crunch time, you definitely made it happen. Spot perfect on both your green flag pit stops there in the closing laps here. Talk us through just how important it was to have teammates with you in the closing laps.
It's if you're running by yourself and you don't have somebody that is going to be going with you if you decide to make a lane change, it's almost impossible. It's so not random, but there's so much momentum and there's so much that goes into this, and having somebody to coordinate with really helps you be able to see the runs that are coming and make the most of them.
Sounds fair, and it sounds like we're going to have more of the same next week as the series rolls into Atlanta. We're not sure which layout it's going to be. If it's the old one, we're looking for a lot of side-by-side stuff. If it's the new one, it's going to be kind of a repeat of tonight, I fear.
Yeah, I think either way, whichever configuration it is, I think you're going to see a lot of drafting. Maybe not pack racing if it's 2008 Atlanta, but I think you're still going to see a lot of guys real close to each other, still going to have to manage the runs.
Absolutely. Trevor, who do you need to thank before we turn you loose?
I want to thank Tom again, my teammate, friends, family that watch and let me do this. I want to thank Freddie for putting this place together. All the people that race here have a pretty good group of guys around here. It's real nice to come race somewhere where we can do this kind of thing and not have a caution every few laps. It's pretty nice. And also thanks to you guys for broadcasting.
Well, it's our pleasure when you guys give us action like you gave us tonight. Trevor Ryan, congratulations on winning at Talladega. We'll see you next week in Atlanta.
Thank you, sir. See you there.
And that is going to about do it for us here tonight. Let's take a quick look at our finishing order. Trevor Ryan, Evan Kenny, Jeremy Morrison. We talked to those three gentlemen already. Dominic Rossi and Tommy Osborne rounding out your top five. William George, Adam Gaston, Lane Hosler, Shane Calhoun, and Stephen West rounding out your top 10. Larry Stubblefield, Tom Richter, Ken Pack, Jamie LaRoque, and TJ Allen rounding out the top half of the field. Tyler?
Ken Holland is bringing home 16th, Nathan Brown 17th, Greg Barnett 18th, Jeremy Moore in 19th, James Nelson in 20th, Timothy Cook 21st, Blaine Woodruff 22nd, David Connell 23rd, Jeremy Culp, I believe that is, 24th, Frederick Garcia 25th, Ryan Twinham 26th, Joey Stiers 27th, Carl Yeager 28th, Chris Smith 29th, Brian Toole in 30th. Your final four here, Kevin Becker in 31st, James Rayburn 32nd, Stephen Tuck 33rd, and Daniel Sykes 34th.
And that is going to about do it for us tonight here from Talladega. Again, be sure to join us.
This is the...
That's not what I wanted. Be sure to join us tomorrow for... well, we got a late one tomorrow. It's the Western States Racing League, round number 10. I believe they are here at... nope, they are at Daytona for that one tomorrow night. But if you're still not done with your racing tonight, you can check out the SCL International Cup Series, as they are also here at Talladega. The A-Lot Cleaner Xfinity Series, round number 4 at Phoenix, is going on right now on our sister broadcast. And the All-Pro Sim Series 2023, round number 2 at Five Flags is currently going on with the super late models. So if you're not done racing, click on over to one of those other broadcasts. This has been Sim Racing Media. I am Tony Trapasso. Tyler Bentley, thank you so much for joining me in the booth tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you, sir. So on behalf of Sim Racing Media, remember, ladies and gentlemen, that as you walk down the road of life this week, and until we meet again, do us all a favor. Don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.